a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
And welcome to the Consumer Quarterback Show. Great lineup for you today as usual. Elon Musk offers to pay legal bills if you're unfairly treated by employers from something that you post on his site. Interesting content coming at you today here as well. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis to debate California Governor Gavin Newsom. I'm going to talk with Mark Hay about that. 21st Century Financial Group coming up here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, second half of the show. Also, Bank of California buying PacWest. Kind of a, what's the state of the economy? What's the state of the banking industry? It seems like it's tightening up. There is a tightening on lending requirements. We're going to talk about that as well. And potentially, what's the potential for the interest rates to continue to rise versus an interest rate pause? So many think that there's an interest rate pause on the horizon. We're going to dive deep into that as well with our economist of choice, 21st Century Financial Group, Mark Hay. And kicking off the show as well, we're going to start off here with Patrick Furlow. Patrick and Annie were on the show a couple weeks ago. Step by Stage Interiors. Home staging. We're going to talk about a success story that we've had here as well recently, a success story with multiple offers on a property that they staged. They're a top 10 staging company in the United States as well, folks, and that's in the real estate space. If you want to maximize your profits when you're selling your properties, that's what we do. That's what we help you do with the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. My wife Lindsay and I own a top team here in Tampa Bay, so we're going to talk about some real estate, a little bit about technology and social media, and we also have a heavy heart for our nonprofit organizations out there. We're doing a clothing drive right now. We have, this is I believe our 8th year in a row doing it. The Great Clothing Swap of 2023 will directly benefit women and children in our local area. We always talk about supporting the local economy. That's what's different about this show. It's more geared on this Tampa Bay market, the Gulf Coast of Florida market. We've had some great nationally syndicated show hosts on this program throughout the day. But when you listen to our show, you get that local Tampa Bay flair. Tampa Bay, the best place to live, work, and play here in Tampa Bay. So we got that clothing drive going on right now. So there's multiple area locations where you can donate if you'd like to. 727-263-3707. Call or text the hotline if you got anything in your closet that you'd like to donate and contribute to this. We're looking to raise 15,000 plus items and about that same amount of dollars. 727-263-3707, and that's being put on by Lindsay Rhymes from the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. Multiple Bay Area drop-off locations as well, and we can coordinate that with you also. ConsumerQB.com. You can submit an email right there at ConsumerQB.com. Had a former Tampa Bay Buccaneer reach out to me, wanting me to be on a board of a charity that he heads up, and potentially going to be a board member on that. So yeah, you can, and he did the same. You can just reach out through the website consumerqb.com, and you can submit an email for him right there. The emails will come directly through to us. Also, brhymes@kw.com if that's easier for you. brhymes@kw.com. All right, before we get to Patrick Furlow, owner of Step by Stage Interiors, we're going to touch on a couple of our hot listings. We just listed this beautiful commercial property here, 5146 Marine Parkway. This is a great opportunity to buy a business, a commercial building, existing location right here, 5146 Marine Parkway, New Port Richey, just off of US 19, and it has a large open floor plan. It's an exceptional storefront, strategically positioned where foot traffic is constant. You have excellent accessibility, public transport hubs as well, major roadways, close proximity. You got about 40 to 50,000 vehicles a day passing by that corner up there where you have US 19 as well. 1,000 feet from US 19. Marine Parkway, one of our hot commercial listings, by the way. We do vacant land, residential properties, and commercial properties. And we're part of the sports and entertainment division, luxury division, commercial division, land division as well. All right, we got another listing here. I want to let you know about another property right on the beach. This one's 861 Mandalay Avenue, Clearwater Beach. You are 200 steps from the dolphin-filled water, sugar sand beaches of Clearwater Beach. You're living amongst the stars there. You've got multiple celebrities that have homes there. I believe Hulk Hogan and some others in that area. 2-bedroom, 2-bath. Open concept, stainless steel appliances, quartz countertops, gorgeous property here. You got a 900 square foot screened-in patio, charming pergola, steps away from Clearwater Beach. 861 Mandalay Avenue, Clearwater Beach, Florida. And you can see all of our real estate listings at PlatinumCoastalElite.com.
Yeah, I'm racing my class to those saving our ass overseas.
All right, so let's welcome back Patrick Furlow, owner of Step by Stage Interiors. Welcome back, sir.
Thanks, Brandon. It's nice to be back in the office again for
Yeah,
the second
man.
time around. We're looking forward to another great conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's start with our recent success story because we've already got multiple offers on one of the properties. You just staged it a few days ago, and we already have multiple offers over the weekend.
Yes, sir. That's great to hear.
Yeah, it's awesome. So you go in there and you design. You lay it out, you design it, you go in and execute. You have the movers bring the furniture in, and it's just the stats are staggering on that too. When you look at the actual National Association of Realtors statistics on staged homes versus a vacant home, what are some of the stats? It's pretty crazy.
That's right. So the National Association of Realtors, in combination with the Real Estate Staging Association, known as RESA, most of those are public records, so anybody can see them. The average days on the market and for staged properties are significantly faster than if they're listed vacant. 83% of properties will tend to sell at or above asking price, and about 83% faster. And at the end of the day, just a better return on investment and a quicker sale for our clients and our agents, and which is why I think so many people are continuing to learn about staging and educate about staging and understand the benefits and the competitive advantage it brings.
Yeah, it sure does. Because when you walk in and it's a vacant property, first of all, they think, oh, what's wrong with it? Or, why do they have to leave? Why is it sitting here vacant? There's numerous questions that pile up. And then when you come in and you make it look beautiful, I know you had mentioned many times people say, hey, how much can we pay you? We just want to buy it as is. We want to buy this furniture.
Yeah, and that happens a lot more than you think. I think it's because people understand they're buying a lifestyle. When you're looking at a vacant home in particular, just to take those examples. When it's empty, I like to say that house is exuding the 3 Bs: bland, boring, and barren. If you're marketing that, you're marketing a shell. It just feels more soulless, and there's nothing to connect with for buyers online and in person.
Yeah.
So when we come in and we have it professionally staged, and we're highlighting the features of the home in addition to the lifestyle of what people can envision themselves mentally moving into that space, that's how they connect with that. And then the snowball effect starts from there. It increases your showings online. The phones ring, the buyer's agent's phones ring from the seller's agents or the buyers. They're interested in seeing it. More offers come, and usually people are choosing between highest and best, and we're moving on and getting out from under that property so they can move on with their life.
Yeah, I love it. And it is an emotional, when you think about real estate, how emotional, is there anything more emotional than in a lot of cases, right? Buying, selling.
Yes.
Especially on the residential side. Commercial is a little bit different, but you hit on a major point there, pain point for a lot of people is, the emotions behind it. One of my favorite books to study was Chris Voss. He's an FBI hostage negotiator, wrote a really great negotiation book. And he talks about in there the fact that as human beings, we are two things. We're irrational. As much as we like to think we're rational and we make rational decisions, in many cases we're irrational and we're emotional beings.
Yeah, and that's so true. And it rings true in real estate. More often than not, people have been in their homes for 10, 20, 30, 40 years. And it's so new to them when they're going to list it for whatever reason they're selling for, whether they're relocating, they're downsizing, or there's a divorce situation, or a family member had passed and the kids are taking care of selling it. There's never really a great time to sell a house. There's always a reason behind, why. And for us to come in and be part of that collaboration and that team when we help folks with the staging portion of the real estate transaction, it just makes it a little more palatable and seamless and less worrisome to realize that this is something that's going to be a hassle when it doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
I know when we talk to folks, we can always sometimes be the bad guy, the bad cop to the realtor, because a lot of times agents don't necessarily want to introduce staging sometimes to sellers.
Right.
It can be viewed as an additional expense versus more of an investment. So we can kind of be that person, whether it's on a consultation or over the phone with the seller. We don't have to have our realtor stress out that they're the ones that have to consistently talk about why this is a good idea and so on and so forth. They can kind of schedule a consultation, hear it from the experts, and then ultimately make an informed decision if they would choose to want to stage or not. And at the end of the day, they'll make that decision, and the results will showcase one way or the other. And that's what we're here for, to work with our agents and our sellers to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Patrick, Step by Stage Interiors here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, Home Staging, and I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes. And there are options also to do a pay-it-close option. I think that's a pretty attractive option for some people. I mean, let's face it, Bidenomics, it's not working. Bidenomics, gas costs more, food costs more. We've all heard these similar themes. Everything costs more. I had a blowout on my car yesterday. $400 for one tire.
Yeah, so I feel like that's a deal compared to some of these luxury SUVs. It's like $600-700 a tire.
Yeah.
A buddy of mine owns like a 2023 Corvette.
Yeah,
and he was just talking about how much it costs for a tire for that, and it was over $600. I mean, you need to replace it. I can't believe how expensive things have gotten.
Yeah, I mean, I've got the nice run flats. It's on my Mercedes, but anyways, I pushed it too far. You're only supposed to go 50 miles on those things. I was trying to make it back from Plant. I had a listing appointment in Plant City, so I'm trying to push it to get to Clearwater there.
Learn your lesson, Brandon.
Yeah, exactly. I smelled it, and then I pulled over, and I'm like, oh, yep, that's not good. The wire's coming out the side of the tires or whatever. So.
No, that's definitely not good.
But anyways, I want to get to this story real quick, and then we're going to talk more with Patrick about home staging and interior properties. Elon Musk offers to pay legal bills if you're unfairly treated by employers. Here's a quote that he put out, and I guess he rebranded to X, Twitter X, or something along those lines. If you were unfairly treated by your employer due to posting or liking something on this platform, we will fund your legal bill. No limit. Please let us know. And at the time, that was looked at almost 100 million views and a lot of retweets and reposts and all that good stuff. But yeah, isn't it interesting where we're at? The world's richest man, he owns SpaceX, he owns Tesla, and other companies. He's coming out and he's being this basically a proponent for free speech, and he's saying, look, because many people, there's lots of stories where people are canceled or fired from their job, unfairly treated, laid off. I mean, all these different scenarios that play out. But thank you for Elon for doing that. That's really a big deal because to be able to have someone to defend you in those situations, especially. A lot of people are saying, hey, look, this is my income. This is how I feed my family. I've got 3 kids. I've got bills to pay. I can't risk being put in that position. So I think that's what happens when you have this 1984 type regime in power. When you look back to over the last year, mandates, vaccine mandates, these types of scenarios playing out. So it's an interesting play, and kudos to Elon for doing that. So, yeah, Elon Musk. And by the way, I hope he kicks Zuckerbuck's butt for in this fight coming up. So this celebrity matchup that they're touting all over social and all that good stuff. But let's take a quick break. We're going to come back and more with Patrick on the flip side of this commercial break here. Step by Stage Interiors, home staging. Folks, support the local economy by supporting the Consumer Quarterback Show. We greatly appreciate it. Had an uptick in calls last week also. Thanks for reaching out to the program and getting in touch with all of our different expert contributors, CPAs, financial advisors, great attorneys, wonderful home service providers as well. So reach out to the show hotline and check us out online, consumerqb.com. We'll be right back. More on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey, everybody, it's the Captain, Matt Bruce, and you're listening to my buddy, Brandon Rhymes, a consumer quarterback. Sell, Brandon, sell.
Hey, this segment's brought to you by Discovery Golf Cars, longtime friends of the Consumer Quarterback Show. If you're thinking about a golf car or golf cart, check them out online. They do a great job. Discovery Golf Carts, Discovery Golf Cars, that is, CARS.com. Discovery Golf Cars, longtime friends of the program. Coming up here, more with Patrick Furlow, Step by Stage Interiors on the program. And before we do, a couple of hot listings here. We have some beautiful properties available. Now, what we've got is co-listings also. We kind of do these co-listings, referral agreements that we put in place. 530 Heaton Forest Road complements, this listing is compliments of Bill DeVore's real estate team up in the Carolinas. He's with KW Professionals. 530 Heaton Forest Road, Cashiers, North Carolina. This is a $10 million property, 11 bedrooms, 10 bathrooms, 10,000 square feet, over 20 acres of land, beautiful mountain property in the luxury Oasis golf course community of High Hampton. Beautiful property at 530 Heaton Forest Road, Cashiers, North Carolina. $10 million kind of a co-listing relationship that we have with Bill DeVore's real estate team up there, luxury specialists in the Carolinas. So we can help you in all 50 states. That's a key takeaway here, no matter what state you're looking at across the globe. Even Pebble Creek Court, 100 acres for sale, another co-listing type scenario with the Meraki Group in Orlando. This is a real estate team in Orlando that we work with. 100 acres for sale. This one is Pebble Creek Court, Four Corners, Florida, Osceola County. Prime development opportunity, excellent location for a short-term rental community, close to Disney, Universal, SeaWorld, downtown, and more. Pebble Creek Court, 100-plus acres for sale. Beautiful, beautiful property here. This one's also right at $9 million. You can see all of our listings online at PlatinumCoastalElite.com.
This is God's country.
All right, so let's jump back into our local area expert contributor today, Patrick Furlow, in the house, talking about maximizing the sale on your real estate transactions. When you're thinking about selling, sellers want to get the most amount of money out of their properties, Patrick, and you've got some really great stats that you've accumulated over the years. Talk to me about that, because when you work with sellers, that's what they're looking for.
Sure. So our most common question that we get from clients is, how much does it cost to stage, and what kind of return on investment am I going to get? Should I make that investment? So we want to come prepared with those. So we just don't spit out national averages. Staging will attract this many buyers, or staging will sell for this much over asking. Like, people want to know locally what matters. So we track all of our statistics by county, and then we do it by month. So that way people get real deal, what's going on right now. We're capturing seasonality, market trends, price points. So, for example, the one that we just did out in the Pinellas area, we knew that for that price point in Pinellas, our average days on the market are usually 5.5 days before we're generating an offer or offers. And I think that's exactly what it was for that property. I think it's been on the market for just under a week, and it had multiples. So your client's going to have to choose between the highest and best, which is a great thing.
Yep.
So people want to know that. They want to know that whoever they decide to hire for their staging standpoint, should they want to consider staging for their property, is informed, they're up to par with what's really going on with their own statistics, not just national or regional statistics, but what kind of return on investments. How many of those properties are selling for over asking price, how many are selling for full asking price, or how many are selling below that, and so on and so forth. So we can provide them those answers so they can feel comfortable when they make a decision. Yeah,
Gary Keller's written several books on real estate. Millionaire Real Estate Agent is kind of known as the real estate Bible, and he has a chapter in there, and it talks about staging. And it's the question, especially if it's a vacant home, isn't how to stage or what to stage. It's definitely do stage it, right? It's the type of staging that you're putting in, and that's where your wife Annie comes into play. She's kind of got that eye that's for the interior design stage.
She does. So she comes with a professional interior design background. She was an interior designer for 7 years prior to staging, which I think really helps her understand all kinds of things, from color therapy to scalability, and the structural, architectural details of the property, and incorporating the staging and the design with that. You don't have to have a license. It's not a regulated industry to be in home staging, but you do have to have skill and some background and some talent to know what you're doing. We always like to say we'll never play house in someone's largest investment of their life. It's a business. So we want to make sure that when we're taking people's money, we're providing an amazing service that's going to help them ultimately sell for more and for quicker. And to do that, it takes the appropriate skill and the right amount of inventory and the right amount of marketing and the right amount of customer experience. Customer service is great, but the experience is what matters to us from start to finish.
Yeah, it really does. It's that's the key, is getting the referrals. Once you do a good job, you're getting referrals, and that's and I think about the renter community right now. Look, here's a fascinating stat. It came off of an economist from LinkedIn. He says 73% of renters say that they're renting in a neighborhood where they couldn't afford to buy. That means rental housing is helping make exclusive neighborhoods more inclusive, more diverse, and more accessible, and that's an important consideration. It goes on to talk about where the stats come from, but he says here's some other highlights. Nearly 2/3 of renters are satisfied being renters, and the satisfaction rates are correlated with age. Younger renters are more likely to be happy with renting, whereas Gen X is moderately less likely. Number 2, older renters say they rent for very practical reasons, and of course, there's different reasons why you might want to rent versus own. But when you think about where we're at in the economy and people renting right now, it's kind of an interesting, another interesting place to look at, because of the stats showing over the years more and more people are renting. And I say, man, unless you have a specific reason for that, you're throwing money away. You got to get into home ownership.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I feel like from your younger generation, your 18 to 30 year olds, I think a lot more, and this is just my opinion from what I've seen really in the market, is more people rent more often because people are hopping jobs more often than not. People work for a place for 6 months to 1 year to 18 months, and they're on to the bigger paycheck, or they're on to do something different. So I don't want to say that the loyalty isn't there like it used to be back in, our parents' generation, where a lot of times you work for a company and you're there for 20, 30 years and you're earning, benefits, and you have like your ESOPs and pensions and things. You're just there. Now, like, I think the skill sets increased a lot from younger generations, especially around technology and computers and IT. So folks aren't necessarily staying in one place at one time, so they're constantly moving and moving and moving because their jobs might take them other places. And I think that's probably a reason for why you see a lot more people renting that are younger versus what they're older.
Yeah, that's one. And then also that younger generation saw their parents had the issues with 06, 07, 08, that meltdown, that mortgage meltdown. The best term I heard for that era was the irrational exuberance, the irrational exuberance. So you had banks lending crazy loans and all that kind of stuff. But we've got just a couple minutes left, so I wanted to get some of your top tips. So top tips from Patrick here with step-by-stage interiors. Top tips, things to do, things to avoid, what to look out for, consumer advocate tips. What would you say?
Sure. So if it comes to when you're listing your property, we know every point in time somebody at some point in their life is going to eventually sell their property. So I always like to say there are 4 key ingredients to the successful sale in real estate, no matter what. Price, location, condition, and staging. If those 4 things are lined up and they're done right, you should have no problem selling your property. If one of those things is off, consumers are smart. They're not going to overpay for something that's priced too high. There's a lot of conditional issues to be had. We're in a turnkey society, so people don't want to spend a lot of effort to fix up this stuff. They just look at it as price tags and they're on to the next property.
Yep.
If the location's rough, it's always going to be a challenge. If it's staged right, you should have that emotional and psychological connection necessary that's going to resonate with buyers, that help them mentally figuring out how to move into that space. And if they're all done right, clients tend to be happy. People move on. Real estate agents love it because they get their commission check faster and they can close faster and they get more referrals that way.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of from the sale portion of the property. But at the end of the day, when we bought our house in 2013, we bought a 2-story bungalow property in Lakeland. It was pretty well maintained by the previous homeowners. And it was built in 1925, and it only had 4 previous families that lived in it before we moved in. So 4 families in 85-something years. So you can tell that when they lived there, they took care of it, and it was in good shape. But you're always needing to put money back into your property, even if it's newer construction or if it's older. And I guess one of the tips that we can make from a home staging perspective is, take care of your home. Memories are made there, whether they're good or bad, but hopefully they're good. That home will last longer and treat you better in the long run if it's well maintained and well taken care of, especially when the day comes to want to sell it. If it's conditionally in great shape, it's just less work for you to do, and it's just better things for buyers to be interested in.
Absolutely. How do you want people to connect with you, Patrick?
They can go to the website, stepbystageinteriors.com. You can find us on social media at Instagram at stepbystage and Facebook at stepbystage, or you can give us a call at 321-960-0693.
All right. Hey, good stuff. Great tips there. And Patrick and Annie Furlow, Step by Stage Interiors. Great stuff there. Appreciate that. Coming up, Mark Hay, 21st Century Financial Group, our financial advisor, expert contributor, coming up here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Also, Governor DeSantis to debate Governor Newsom. We're going to talk about it. We'll be right back.
Thanks for listening to my daddy's show. Please make sure to send him all of your real estate deals and subscribe to the Consumer Quarterback Show podcast on iTunes and Spotify, or check out our YouTube channel. Have a blessed day.